Hello y'all, and welcome to YoungFolkKnits. Summer may almost be over, but that just means it's officially Fish Girl Fall. Hello y'all, and welcome back to YoungFolkKnits. If you're new here, my name is Casey, and on this channel I share all about my love of fiber arts. So there's knitting, sewing, spinning, crochet, who knows what else we might be up to. And I also occasionally share about life on a small farm here in Arkansas. So if any of that sounds like it might be your cup of tea, then hit that subscribe button so you won't miss out on any future video content. Today is all about Fish Girl Fall. If you're not new here, then you'll know I have been obsessed with Fish Girl Summer. I wasn't really able to knit any sweaters for it though, and because of that, I thought Fish Girl Fall needed to happen. And I wasn't the only one. Ashley of Design by So and So, who is also a fish enthusiast, thought this was a fantastic idea and decided to join in on the fun. So we're making a splash this fall, and we're carrying that Fish Girl Summer aesthetic right into fall. I'm very excited to announce that Monday, September 1st, Fish Girl Fall Makealong will officially begin. It's going to run until the first day of winter, which is December 21st. So there's going to be lots of time to join in the fun and finish things that maybe you've already started or start something new. Whips are totally welcome, and it's going to be a very open Makealong. We love the Fish Girl aesthetic. So anything Fisherman core, anything fishy themed, or a fun play on words, fisherman's rib, half fisherman's rib, anything like that is welcome when it comes to knitting patterns. It's not just knitting though. Ashley and I plan on doing some sewing, some beading, crochet is welcome, weaving, any kind of making. If you want to paint a fish, paint a fish. It is all welcome for the Makealong. If I accidentally slip up and call it a knit along, then just mentally replace it with Makealong. I'm sorry, I know it's gonna happen though. So today, in order to get ready for all the fishy madness, I wanted to share some possible projects that have really caught my eye. I've got some knitting projects, some sewing projects, beading, you name it. I've got quite a few different areas that I think will be a lot of fun to chat about. So let's get ready to cast on and reel in some cozy makes. I actually have multiple projects planned for this Makealong. First of all though, I want to share one of the major ones I would really like to focus on that I have not even started yet. And it is the King Salmon Light Sweater by Caitlin Hunter of Boyland Knitworks. I'll start by saying I have a complete Ravelry bundle with lots of fishy ideas saved, and I will link that in the description. I won't be able to share all of them, so make sure and check it out and you can see so many ideas that would be really fun to work on. The King Salmon Light, however, was at the top of my make list. I was really excited because I love colorwork sweaters, but in Arkansas it gets so hot that thick, heavy, multiple-stranded worsted weight sweaters are difficult to pull off. There's very few days a year that I could actually wear it, whereas a fingering weight colorwork sweater is much more doable. This is a circular yoke sweater, which is knit top down. It's a fingering weight 26 stitch gauge pattern. It is knit on a recommended US 2 needles. I think that Caitlin is a pretty loose knitter like I am. So for those of you that are not super loose, you may actually find that you need to go up a needle size. So don't be scared by that US 2 or 2.75 millimeter needle mention. I am going to be using some lovely woolly yarn I purchased from Red Stag Fiber. So it's a really awesome blend. It's Yorkshire Fingering, which is a blend of 75% Polworth and 25% Masham. So you actually get 492 yards per 100 grams. It's a lovely, woolly, airy yarn. This is going to be my main color, and it is natural. It definitely, I don't know if you can tell on screen, but it definitely has a gray oatmeal color to it. And then my contrast color is going to be Gilded. So it's a very scummy green with a golden undertone, but very green. And I think they're gonna look really great together. I was actually inspired by Andrea from, she has a different name on Instagram than she does on her podcast on YouTube. I'll put it on the screen though. I was very inspired by her sweater. I think she might have tested this. And I love the colors. Her main color was definitely whiter than mine is, but I think this will still be really fun. I'm a low contrast gal, and so it doesn't bother me if there's not a really super high contrast. I still think you'll be able to see it just fine, and these are totally my colors. So very much I think we'll hit the granola girl vibes, and I'm excited to finally get a fishy sweater. It may take me all year to knit it, but it will be done. I have heard that all of these sweaters, because of this pretty long fish motif, the yoke itself can almost turn batwing. It can become very deep. Some people have actually decided to split for sleeves before the chart ends and continue to work the chart on the sleeves and on the body after they've separated to keep the yoke from becoming too deep. That's definitely an option. I personally don't mind a deep yoke as long as it's oversized. I don't like a deep yoke that is a snug sweater. So if it's oversized and maybe slightly cropped-ish, still long enough to hit the top of my pants for sure, but I don't mind to tuck it in, maybe a French tuck, or to just have it open and flowy. As long as it's a little bit oversized, I don't mind for there to be a deep yoke. So I think this is going to work out great. I know a lot of y'all have mentioned that you're going to be knitting this sweater along with me. I'm super excited. I know my friend Becky is knitting it. I'm trying to remember who all else has told me that they're casting on as well. Let me know in the comments if you're making this sweater. I think that'll be super fun. I do think this motif could look a bit daunting. I think that if you want this sweater to look its best, there's a couple of things to keep in mind. One is your color dominance. You absolutely want to make sure that your contrast color is always your dominant color while knitting this. That means that if you hold one color in each hand, your dominant color needs to be held in the left hand. And you want to make sure that it stays that way throughout the sweater. Otherwise, your pattern can become very muddy. The other thing that I think is very important, this pattern has some long floats of a single color. If this sounds like it's going to be a lot to tackle, then I think you would really benefit by taking a class from the sponsor of today's video, which is Craftsy. Craftsy is an online learning community where literally millions of DIY lovers, crafters, and makers like ourselves can find inspiration and learn new skills. If you've been here long, you know that Craftsy played such a pivotal role in my spinning journey. It took me from frustrated to feeling very confident because I was able to watch these expert instructors visually show me exactly what I needed to do. Ever since then, I have trusted them implicitly with my crafting education. So when it comes to knitting stranded colorwork sweaters, I found the perfect class, which is taught by Sunmeyer. Stranded Colorwork Basics and Beyond. You learn from cast on all the way through a project. She actually teaches you by knitting some beautiful Norwegian colorwork mittens, so you'll have a fabulous project when you get done. She helps you to master the 2-color cast on, securing your floats, even conquers 3-color knitting. She works you through troubleshooting your mistakes and then how to block your colorwork project. This is so important to get that beautiful finished fabric in the end. So whether you're interested in 2-color, 3-color, any kind of stranded color work, even jogless stripes, this class will take the fear out of a daunting project. Craftsy is the perfect platform for multi-craftual makers like us. So whether your interest is sewing, baking, watercolor, beading, knitting, crochet, illustration, whatever skill you'd like to hone, they have expert instructors and a great community. That's why I'm so excited to be partnering again with Craftsy this month. The first 1,000 people to use my link will receive a premium 1-year membership for only $1.49, which is valid for new members only. To unlock the offer, you can either scan the QR code here on my screen, or you can follow the link in my description. So if you want to up your craft game, then make sure not to miss out on this amazing offer. Thanks again, Craftsy, for sponsoring today's video. All right, the next knitting project that I'm going to be working on for the Makealong is a pattern which is releasing tomorrow if you're watching this on Thursday. So tomorrow, Friday, August the 29th, Ashley from Design by So and So is releasing her Old Salt socks pattern. I fell in love with this immediately. I think it's so much fun. It gives the sardines look. It's everything that is fun about Fish Girl Summer and now Fish Girl Fall. Ashley designed this to either be knit toe up or cuff down. She has both sets of instructions. If you want to try one cuff down and one toe up, you can do both and then decide which is your favorite way to knit socks. I think this is so much fun. She has lots of special features in this pattern, not only the different construction methods, a super fun contrast color toe line, which makes them look very much like commercial socks. They have a little bit of that extra special touch to them, gives them an elevated look. It uses 3 colors, so you have your main color, one of the contrast colors you just use a very tiny amount of, and then you have another contrast color which honestly doesn't use that much either. I have bought sock yarn from Coast to Coast Yarn Co. not too long ago, and I didn't know for sure what I wanted to use it in. I just wanted to buy it because it was on sale and I knew I'd use it for socks at some point. And I didn't have the perfect blue though. So I ordered some hedgehog fibers in, I think it's called Electric Blue. I'll put the name on the screen, but it was perfect. And I thought the color combo went really well together. However, if you don't want to have to put your own combo together, then Little Lionhead Knits is going to be offering sock kits for this pattern, which I think is so much fun. And as part of the collab, there will also be fish stitch markers, which I love. These are made by Riley of Soft Spoken, and Riley has very generously donated some stitch markers for prizes for this Makealong, not knit along. Sorry, told you it was gonna happen. So thank you, Riley. I'm so excited for this. I think they're beautiful. You're so talented, and these are just so much fun. So this would be the perfect fishy project. You can work on some socks. You'll have some super fun handmade socks when you get done. And I think this just absolutely hits all the elements of the Fish Girl summer/fall aesthetic. Okay, I just want to say that there are also a absolute boatload of fishy knitting projects from Caitlin Hunter or Boyland Knitworks. So the sweater that started it all was halibut sweater, which I think is actually my favorite. I like the design on this the best. It has some really pretty colorwork motifs on it, and I will be making this sweater as one of my projects for the Makealong. I am going to be spinning the contrast color yarn to knit the halibut sweater. I got some Sonder Yarn Co. BFL Masham fiber, and it's just in the natural colorway that it comes in. It's a sort of creamy oatmeal, very silver gray oatmeal tinge to it. I'll try not to squish it. This is it. It's beautiful. It's very drapey. I love BFL Masham. It's 75% BFL, 25% brown Masham. Absolutely beautiful. So I'm going to be spinning for that sweater. I'm not sure when I will be able to make it, but I want to spin my contrast color. I think that'll make it a little extra fun. This is a DK weight sweater, circular yoke, and I think it's absolutely lovely. This is definitely one that I want to knit in the future. But in the halibut knitting pattern theme, she also released a pair of mittens, which are fingering weight, and they are beautiful, stunning, very earthy vibes. She also has the halibut cardigan. This is an Aran weight. It was knit up in Peace Fleece worsted, so that's going to knit up pretty quickly. I believe that it's steeped, and you're not going to have to do colorwork knitting flat. There's a cowl. I think there's a hat. Yes, there's a halibut hat. Then she switched to the salmon motif. So not only did we get the King Salmon lot, but we also got the King Salmon sweater, which is a worsted 18 stitch gauge sweater. I really like this. I think it's super fun. To be honest though, if I was going to knit that one or the halibut sweater for being the same weight, I prefer the chart on the halibut sweater. I think it's a little bit more fun. I like both of them though. There's also a King Salmon hat, and of course the King Salmon light sweater. who knows what other salmon goodies we might be getting from her. These patterns are very well known. They've gotten a lot of exposure, and I wanted to share some that maybe you haven't seen before. A pattern that I have bought, I have had in my library for some time, and I think is so adorable. It is gonna happen because we all know I'm very guilty of casting on too many projects, is the Ribka pouch. This is by Rat and Sea Witch, and this just is the cutest little pouch to hold your knitting notions, to have attached to your bag, inside your purse, in your car. I feel like we all need one. This is just so cute. It is a 25 stitch gauge, and it was knit using light fingering and lace held together. I would probably knit this in a bit of a sturdy yarn with some nylon in it because I'm pretty hard on things that go on my bags. Otherwise, it almost would end up felted, which might be a good thing. But I think I would like this in some sock yarn, or maybe even like a DK weight yarn with nylon in it. I love how simple this is. You knit one side of it, then you knit the other, and then you connect them. And you can add the cutest little eyes. I just think it's so much fun. And then you have a drawstring, which makes the mouth. And I think it's adorable. This would not take very long at all. So if you don't have a lot of bandwidth to make a new project, but you would still like to join in the knit along, this is a great option. And if you feel like you need a soft plush fish in your life, an adorable pattern I came across is called Sardine. This is knit up in a worsted weight 18 stitch gauge, and it's pretty big, so this would be really cute to throw on your bed as a pillow or to give as a gift to one of your kiddos. The color combinations that you could come up with for this are so good. I feel like if you had a lot of scrap sock yarn, you could hold it double, and that would be perfect. I think it would create a pretty sturdy fabric, and if you had lots of scraps, then you could do a really fun scrappy multicolored fish, which would be adorable. This shouldn't take too long because it's actually just knitting a tube for the most part, and the little fins at the end are adorable. Another sock set I fell in love with is the Fisherfolk's Fancy Sock Set by Charlotte of Stone Knits. This is adorable. It is actually multiple patterns in one. So there's crabs, there's lobsters, and there's sardines, which are all adorable. Charlotte is a fabulous sock knitter. She's a great pattern writer. This is your classic 34 stitch fingering weight sock knit on a US 1 or 2.25 millimeter. And I think they're so cute. This is all over color work. I know sometimes people have a little bit of trouble getting a good gauge with the color work that doesn't just happen on the leg of the foot or the cuff of the sock, but actually goes all the way through the entire foot of the sock. And if that's the case, then you could totally just work these where the color work is on the cuff only and doesn't go all the way down. But if you like that all over color work, this is really adorable. Now, I mentioned that this wasn't just fish patterns only, but also fisherman core. So if you imagine a fisherman out fly fishing, I think of in the Scottish Highlands out fly fishing as well. We have a lot of fly fishers here in Arkansas, especially in the cold river waters. It's very popular, and I think a fun fisherman sweater would be perfect. I usually think of a creamy Aran weight color with lots of texture or cables whenever I think of a fisherman sweater. One I think would be perfect is the Book Club Pullover, a pattern by Sari Nordland. This has some beautiful cables. It's at a quick 19 stitch worsted weight gauge, so it'll knit up fairly quickly. It has a really fun chart that you can follow while knitting. I did test knit the cardigan version of this. I loved the chart. I think that this would be just as much fun to knit in the pullover version, and you're getting a very classic look here. Now, any color would look beautiful in this. If you want that fisherman's vibe, I really see it in a creamy color, but you can knit it in any color you want for the Makealong. Just a thought if you are after that fisherman's vibe. Another great sweater full of texture is the Ingrid sweater by Petite Knit. This one, you will not get bored. You're switching it up with different panels all the way down the sweater. Each time you finish a panel, you're starting a new chart, completely new stitches, will not get boring. This is a worsted weight gauge as well. I like this a lot. The only thing I don't like about this is the collar. I don't like how she did the collar on this. I do want to knit this, and I hope I will get it done one of these days. And when I do, I'm just going to knit a simple 1x1 ribbed, probably folded collar. I think that would look classic and be the most wearable for me. Some fun accessories. First of all is the Fisherman's Cowl by Maxim Sear, or Max the Knitter. This is a super fun sport weight pattern. I love the design. It will be very engaging to knit, but not too difficult at all. This is a cowl which is knitted flat and then grafted together. So you have a circular tube in the end, but you do knit it flat. It is using two different yarns. So one is Spin Cycle Yarns Nocturne, which is just the moodier base of Dyed in the Wool, so a sport weight yarn, held with Walcott Yarns and Les Garçons Fluff. So you've got a sport weight gauge there. I think it's really fun. It would be very wearable in the end and a great way to jump in the Makealong. Now there's also lots of half Fisherman's rib patterns, including many by Andrea Mowry, like the Birch Pullover, the Stria cardigan. But one I love is the Inclinations Cowl. I knit one of these. I wear it so much. It's such a great fit. It's so much fun to knit, and you can really play with your color choices. This is a sport weight gauge, but I think that it's easily adjustable to make it at a DK weight or a fingering weight. You just might do more or less of the rows where you're not increasing or decreasing. It's a great pattern to have in your library. I love this so much. It's so squishy, it's so fluffy, it's so much fun. And I'm actually a huge fan of Half Fisherman's Rib socks. So I love the Nest socks by Katie Harrod, or Songbird Handmade. I do have this pattern. It's so amazing. I love it. I'm going to pop this picture on the screen, and I just want you to look at how cozy this is. These will take you a while to knit, simply, not that it's hard, not that it's difficult, just because there's a lot of fabric. You're ending up with this beautifully squishy, scrunchy sock fabric, which you will never want to take off, but it's going to take you a minute to knit it. I will say that. Totally worth it in the end, though. These are lovely. And this pattern has so many options. You can either knit it in DK or fingering weight, or you can knit it cuff down or toe up. So fabulous bang for your buck on this pattern. I want to mention a few other super fun options that are not knitting. I have been having so much fun making beaded fish progress keepers and stitch markers. So I've made a ton of these. I don't even know how many at this point. I've made some for my friends, and I'll pop them on the screen because I know they're really hard to see. Here's like 5 of them that I've made, and there's a lot of videos on YouTube. I actually love seed bead jewelry. I'm wearing a bracelet that I've made. I've made a lot of earrings and bracelets just for myself. I think that it's a fun hobby. So because of that, I have some really small seed beads, and I used those to make my beaded fish markers. Most of the tutorials show a little bit of a bigger bead, and I will link that in the description. So if you want to try your hand at making some stitch markers, they tell you what kind of wire you need, what size beads you need, everything to make the entire project. And it's really fun. It is a bit tedious, but super fun. You'll want to make a bunch of them, and I think it would be a great way to scale up your making skills. Okay, let's talk about a few fun sewing patterns. Okay, I recently bought this pattern, and I cannot wait to make it. This is a pattern by Madison Moore, and it's the Mad Made Swim Along Crossbody Fish Bag Sewing Pattern. That was a mouth bag. That was a mouthful, but it all came out. Okay, this is a PDF sewing pattern, and it is so cute. I feel like I could possibly look like a kindergartner with my lunchbox, but I don't even care. It's that cute. It has a great tutorial on how to work through this pattern. There's some quilting in it, but You will be okay. You can do this. It's not that hard. I would say you probably want to have sewn something. I don't think this is the best very first beginner project that you've ever sewn before, because there is some straps and adding buckles and things like that. You might want to be a little bit more comfortable before diving into it, but it's not that difficult. It's a great way to use up scrappy pieces of fabric as well, and I just cannot even stand how cute this is. It is adorable. Okay, I also found a pattern for a adorable fish drawstring bag. This would be the cutest little sock project bag. I'm sure you could scale it up and make it bigger to fit however much yarn you wanted in it. But this is the cutest thing ever. It really does not look difficult at all. It looks fairly simple. I think you could sew this up in like an hour, and then you would have the cutest little fish drawstring bag. This is just adorable. I mean, just look at this and you will be hooked. All right, y'all, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. I am so excited for this make along. I think it's gonna be so much fun. Let me know in the comments what your idea is for the make along. I think it would be really great to have a list in the comments so people can reference it if they're looking for ideas. Even if it's not what you're making, if you've got a fun idea, put it in the comments. This will just be a great resource. Plus, I'm always on the lookout for new fishy patterns. Ashley and I are so excited. Make sure and use the hashtag on Instagram, FishGirlFallMAL or FishGirlFallMal. I'm also going to link in the description a thread on Ravelry where you can post your projects and chat. And there will also be a thread on my website. So if you don't use Ravelry or Instagram, but you still want to share your project and be involved in the make along, then that will be a great place to do it. So that will all be linked in the description. Ashley and I cannot wait to make with you. We can't wait to see what you are making. We think this is gonna be really fun. And then when fall is over, we're all gonna have a super fun fishy wardrobe. Don't be coy. Join in the fun. I'll catch you later. Happy knitting, y'all.